In the whispers of ancient tales, when the world was young and gods walked among mortals, there was one deity who ruled over the shadowy depths of the underworld with a solemn and unyielding presence. Hades, the lord of the Greek underworld, stands as one of the most enigmatic figures in mythology, commanding both awe and fear. His name alone evokes a sense of foreboding, a reminder of the eternal divide between life and death. Hades was not born from the heavens or the earth, but emerged from the primordial chaos, a creation of the cosmos itself. As one of the three brothers, alongside Zeus, the king of the gods, and Poseidon, the god of the sea, Hades was given dominion over the underworld, a vast and shadowy realm that lay beneath the world of the living. Unlike his brothers, who ruled the skies and the seas, Hades' realm was hidden from mortal eyes, a place where only the dead dwelled and where sunlight never reached. His domain, known as the Underworld, was not a place of fiery torment or eternal bliss, but rather a world of shades and shadows. It was divided into various regions: the Elysian fields for the blessed souls, Tartarus for the damned, and the Asphodel meadows for those who lived ordinary lives. Hades himself was a figure of solemn dignity, not one to be easily swayed by the pleas of mortals or gods alike. The stories of Hades are rich with drama and emotion, reflecting the complexities of his role as both ruler and judge. One of the most poignant tales is that of his courtship of Persephone, the daughter of Demeter, the goddess of the harvest. Hades fell deeply in love with Persephone and, in a moment of dark determination, abducted her to be his queen. The earth mourned her absence, and the seasons fell into disarray as Demeter grieved for her lost daughter. Hades' actions were not driven by cruelty but by a deep and genuine love. His desire was not to punish, but to have Persephone by his side, sharing his eternal kingdom. He showed her the beauty of the underworld, a realm filled with precious gems and rare wonders, a contrast to its dark exterior. Yet, his love was not enough to prevent the heartache that his actions caused. Persephone's eventual return to the surface world marked the changing of the seasons, a reflection of the cyclical nature of life and death. Hades' interactions with other gods were marked by a respectful distance, underscoring his role as a figure of grave responsibility. He was not often seen in the company of the other Olympians, preferring the solitude of his dark domain. Yet, when the balance of the world was threatened, Hades would step forward with a sense of duty and authority. He played a critical role in the Titanomachy, the great war between the Olympian gods and the Titans. Hades fought alongside his brothers to secure their rule and bring order to the cosmos. Among mortals, Hades was both a figure of dread and a symbol of justice. He presided over the judgment of souls, ensuring that each one received their due according to their deeds in life. The river Styx, which souls had to cross to reach the underworld, was both a barrier and a symbol of the finality of death. Hades' role in this judgment was not to enact revenge, but to maintain the balance between life and death, to ensure that every soul found its rightful place in the afterlife. Despite his fearsome reputation, Hades was not without compassion. He was known to grant favors to mortals who honored him and to protect the dead from being disturbed by the living. The ancient Greeks understood Hades not as a mere symbol of death, but as a necessary force in the grand tapestry of existence. His presence was a reminder of the inevitability of death, but also of the respect and dignity with which it should be met. Hades' role in Greek mythology is a poignant reminder of the intricate balance between life and death, a balance that he maintained with a sense of solemn duty. His realm, though hidden from the eyes of the living, was a place of profound significance, where the souls of the departed found their place in the grand cycle of existence. In the stories that have survived through the ages, Hades stands as a figure of both mystery and majesty, a testament to the ancient Greeks' deep understanding of the complex nature of life, death, and the eternal beyond. In the heart of ancient Greece, there's a tale that stirs the soul, a story of love and loss, of darkness and light, entwined in the fate of one remarkable goddess. Persephone, the daughter of Demeter, the goddess of the harvest, was not just a figure of beauty but a symbol of transformation, holding in her hands the delicate balance between life and death. The story begins on a day of innocence and warmth, when Persephone, a young and vibrant goddess, wandered through a meadow blooming with spring's radiant flowers. Her laughter mingled with the songs of birds, and the world seemed bright and full of promise. But that day, the ground beneath her feet would change forever. From the depths of the earth, Hades emerged, his chariot drawn by black horses, and in a moment of sudden and fateful darkness, he seized Persephone and carried her away to his shadowy underworld. As the earth quaked and the sky darkened, Demeter's heart shattered. Her beloved daughter had vanished, and with her disappearance, the world felt a profound chill. The fields grew barren, the crops withered, and the once lush earth was left in mourning. Demeter's grief was all-encompassing, and she wandered the earth, searching desperately for her daughter, her sorrow reflecting in the empty, lifeless fields. In the underworld, Persephone's arrival was met with both awe and sadness. Hades, the ruler of this dark domain, had not intended to cause harm but was captivated by Persephone's beauty and spirit. He wished to make her his queen, sharing his eternal kingdom with her. Despite the cold and darkness that surrounded them, Hades' intentions were not entirely devoid of affection. Yet, the weight of her separation from her mother cast a shadow over their union. Persephone's life in the underworld was marked by both struggle and adaptation. She became Hades' queen, a role that came with its own complexities and responsibilities. Her presence brought a measure of light to the darkness, as she was both a symbol of renewal and a figure of authority in the underworld. The contrast between her former life and her new role created a poignant dichotomy, a reminder of how life's paths can change in the blink of an eye. Despite her new home, Persephone's story was not one of complete darkness. Each year, she was allowed to return to the surface, to her mother, and to the world of light and life. This reunion marked the arrival of spring, a season of rebirth and renewal. As Persephone emerged from the underworld, the earth blossomed once more, and the fields were filled with vibrant colors and new life. Her return was a time of joy and celebration, a period when the world was rejuvenated by her presence. Yet, each autumn, when Persephone had to return to the underworld, the earth fell back into a state of barrenness. The seasons mirrored her movements, creating a cycle of growth and decay that was central to the Greek understanding of nature. Persephone's journey between the worlds symbolized the eternal cycle of life and death, the constant interplay between light and darkness, growth and decline. Persephone's influence extended beyond her mythological story into the realm of Greek rituals and beliefs. She was revered not only as a goddess of spring but also as a symbol of the cycle of life and death. Her role in the Eleusinian mysteries, ancient religious rites dedicated to Demeter and Persephone, reflected the deep connection between the goddess and the themes of rebirth and regeneration. These mysteries celebrated the seasonal cycles and offered a form of spiritual comfort, promising that life would continue and that death was not the end but a transition. In the Eleusinian mysteries, Persephone was honored as both a nurturing goddess and a figure who guided souls through the afterlife. Her dual role encapsulated the Greeks' understanding of the interconnectedness of life and death, of the ways in which both realms influence and shape one another. The rituals associated with her worship were profound, offering hope and a sense of continuity to those who participated in them. Persephone's myth, rich with emotion and symbolism, speaks to the heart of human experience. Her story is a reminder of the fragility of life, the depth of a mother's love, and the inevitable cycles of nature. She stands as a testament to the enduring strength of the human spirit, a figure who, despite her own trials, embodies the promise of renewal and the enduring beauty of life's rhythms. In the quiet moments of twilight, when the world is caught between the waking and dreaming states, two ancient figures emerge from the shadows of Greek mythology, embodying the delicate balance between life and death. Thanatos and Hypnos, the gods of death and sleep, are both powerful and enigmatic, each holding a place of deep significance in the tapestry of existence. Thanatos, the personification of death, is a figure who moves through the world with a solemn grace. Unlike the frightening images of death often portrayed in modern tales, Thanatos is depicted with a gentle demeanor, a quiet and inevitable presence. His role is not to inflict suffering but to guide souls peacefully from the world of the living to the afterlife. Thanatos is often shown as a winged deity, moving silently and unobtrusively, a symbol of the end that is as natural as the beginning. In myth, Thanatos is both feared and respected. He represents the end of a journey, a transition rather than an end. His touch is soft, his presence calm, embodying the serenity that comes with accepting the finality of death. Thanatos does not act out of malice or vengeance, but rather as a necessary force in the cycle of life. His role is to bring about the natural conclusion to every life, allowing souls to move on to their next phase of existence. Hypnos, the god of sleep, is Thanatos' twin brother, and his role is equally vital but far more soothing. Where Thanatos guides the souls of the deceased, Hypnos oversees the world of dreams and rest. He is depicted with a gentle touch and often shown with wings or a poppy flower, symbols of the tranquil state of sleep. Hypnos' realm is a place of peace and respite, where mortals find solace from the trials of their waking lives. The connection between Thanatos and Hypnos is profound and intricate. Though they are distinct in their domains, their roles often intersect in mythological tales. Hypnos, as the god of sleep, has the power to ease the transition into death. In many ways, he serves as a bridge between the world of the living and the world of the dead, guiding souls into a peaceful slumber before they embark on their final journey with Thanatos. One poignant tale that illustrates their interplay is the story of the hero Sarpedon. As Sarpedon lay on the battlefield, mortally wounded, Hypnos and Thanatos were tasked with carrying him from the battlefield to his resting place. Hypnos lulled Sarpedon into a deep sleep, easing his suffering, while Thanatos prepared to lead him gently to the Underworld. This seamless transition from sleep to death underscores the delicate balance and interconnection between the two gods. The mythology surrounding Thanatos and Hypnos reflects the Greeks' understanding of the natural order and the importance of rest and renewal. Thanatos' role is to ensure that death is a peaceful transition, while Hypnos provides the necessary respite that prepares mortals for this final journey. Together, they embody the natural rhythms of life and death, the balance between activity and rest, and the eternal cycle that governs all existence. Their influence extends beyond mythology into the very fabric of human experience. Hypnos' presence in dreams offers a respite from the harshness of reality, while Thanatos' role serves as a reminder of the inevitable end that awaits all. The stories of these two gods highlight the importance of both sleep and death as integral parts of the human experience, each offering its own form of solace and transition. In the quiet of the night, as sleep descends and dreams take flight, Hypnos watches over the peaceful rest of mortals, while Thanatos remains a gentle guardian of the final journey. Their presence, though often unseen, is a comforting reminder of the natural balance that governs life, sleep, and death. Their intertwined roles serve as a testament to the Greeks' understanding of the profound and inevitable cycle that binds all beings together. In the shadowed corridors of Roman mythology, a figure emerges with a presence both familiar and distinct from his Greek counterpart. Pluto, the Roman god of the underworld, stands as a guardian of the dark domain beneath the earth, embodying the same solemn duty and reverence as Hades, the Greek god he parallels. While Pluto and Hades share many similarities, their roles and representations differ in subtle yet significant ways. Both gods preside over the underworld, a realm of shadow and mystery where the souls of the departed dwell. However, Pluto's influence in Roman mythology carries a unique character, shaped by the customs and beliefs of ancient Rome. Pluto, like Hades, rules over the underworld with a quiet authority. His domain is a place of final rest, where souls find their eternal homes. Yet, Pluto's portrayal is somewhat less imposing than Hades. In Roman mythology, Pluto is often seen as a more detached figure, embodying a sense of inevitability rather than the intense emotion associated with Hades. Where Hades is often depicted with a grim, almost foreboding demeanor, Pluto's representation is more restrained, reflecting the Roman ethos of stoicism and order. The key difference between Pluto and Hades lies in their respective roles and the cultural significance attributed to them. Hades, as the Greek god of the underworld, is often involved in various myths and stories, interacting with gods and mortals alike. His narrative is rich with drama and personal conflict, including his abduction of Persephone and his complex relationships with other deities. Pluto, on the other hand, is less frequently featured in Roman myths. His presence is more subdued, focusing primarily on his function as the overseer of the dead. The Romans viewed Pluto with a sense of respect and awe, but he did not capture the same level of narrative drama as Hades. Instead, Pluto's role was more about maintaining the balance of the underworld and ensuring the proper transition of souls from the world of the living to their eternal resting place. In Roman religious practices, Pluto held a place of significant yet understated importance. Rituals and ceremonies dedicated to him were less about personal appeal and more about ensuring the smooth operation of the afterlife. Romans practiced rites to appease Pluto and other deities of the underworld, seeking to maintain harmony between the living and the dead. These rituals often involved offerings and prayers aimed at ensuring that the souls of the deceased were properly cared for and that their passage to the afterlife was smooth. The Roman approach to Pluto also reflects a broader cultural attitude towards death and the afterlife. While the Greeks often explored the emotional and dramatic aspects of their gods, the Romans focused on practical and ceremonial aspects. This is evident in the way Pluto was worshipped. His role was crucial, but more about the orderly conduct of the afterlife than about personal mythology. One of the most poignant aspects of Pluto's role in Roman culture is his connection to the Earth's fertility. Unlike Hades, who was more closely associated with the underworld's loam, Pluto was sometimes linked to agricultural prosperity. The Romans believed that the underworld's wealth, including precious minerals and fertile soil, was a gift from Pluto. This connection underscores the dual nature of his domain, a place of both darkness and hidden richness. In the grand tapestry of Roman mythology, Pluto stands as a figure of quiet power and dignity. He is a god who ensures the natural order of life and death, his presence a steadying force in the ever-turning wheel of existence. While his role may not be as overtly dramatic as Hades, Pluto's influence is profound, embodying the Roman values of respect for the natural order and the importance of proper rites and rituals. In the end, Pluto, the Roman god of the underworld, mirrors Hades in many ways, but also represents a distinctly Roman vision of the afterlife. His presence in Roman mythology and religious practice reflects a reverence for the mysteries of death and the importance of maintaining harmony between the living and the dead. Through his role as the guardian of the underworld, Pluto stands as a reminder of the inevitable end that awaits all, a solemn but necessary part of the cycle of life. In the stillness of the Roman world, a goddess emerges from the shadows of ancient myth, her story echoing the profound depths of human experience. Proserpina, the Roman adaptation of Persephone, carries with her a tale of sorrow, renewal, and deep connection to the rhythms of nature. Proserpina's story begins with a dramatic twist, mirroring the Greek myth of Persephone but with its own unique Roman flavor. Like Persephone, Proserpina is the daughter of a nurturing goddess, Ceres, the Roman counterpart of Demeter. Her life, once filled with the joys of spring and the warmth of the earth, is abruptly changed when she is abducted by Pluto, the Roman god of the underworld. The sight of Proserpina being whisked away by Pluto's chariot is not just a moment of loss for her mother, but a powerful symbol of the unyielding cycles of life and death. The myth of Proserpina captures the profound emotions of separation and longing. Ceres, in her grief, watches as the world falls into a barren, cold silence. The fields become empty, the trees stand leafless, and the earth seems to mourn the absence of the goddess of spring. This sorrowful period reflects the Roman understanding of the seasons as a reflection of Proserpina's own journey between the underworld and the world of the living. In the underworld, Proserpina's role is complex. Though she is now queen alongside Pluto, her heart longs for the light and life of the world above. Her dual existence captures the essence of change and the powerful force of renewal. Each year, as Proserpina returns to her mother, the earth is reborn. The flowers bloom, the crops grow, and the world celebrates her return with festivals and rituals that honor her role in the natural cycle. Proserpina's influence on Roman festivals and traditions is a poignant reflection of her myth. The most significant of these is the Festival of the Liberalia, a celebration that marks the coming of age for young Romans. During this festival, Proserpina's story is told, and her return from the underworld symbolizes the new beginnings and the potential for growth and renewal. The festival includes offerings and rituals that honor Proserpina, acknowledging her role in the cycles of life and death. Another important celebration is the Floralia, dedicated to Flora, the goddess of flowers and spring, who is closely associated with Proserpina. During this festival, the streets come alive with color and joy, reflecting the renewal that Proserpina brings to the world. The Floralia is a time of exuberance, where the earth's fertility is celebrated and the arrival of spring is eagerly anticipated. The connection between Proserpina and these festivals highlights the Romans' deep respect for the natural world and its cycles. Through rituals and celebrations, they honored the goddess who bridged the gap between life and death, light and darkness. Proserpina's story is a reminder of the inevitable changes in life and the promise of renewal that follows periods of loss. The emotional depth of Proserpina's myth speaks to the universal experiences of grief, hope, and transformation. Her abduction by Pluto is not just a personal tragedy but a reflection of the natural cycles that govern the world. Her return to the surface is a powerful symbol of rebirth and the enduring connection between the living and the dead. The festivals that celebrate her story are a testament to the enduring impact of her myth on Roman culture and the timeless themes it represents. Through Proserpina's story and the traditions that honor her, the Romans found a way to express their understanding of the natural world and the mysteries of existence. Her myth is a poignant reminder of the deep connections that bind us to the earth and to each other, reflecting the timeless rhythms of life and death that shape our world. In the hush of ancient Rome, where shadows of myth linger like whispered secrets, Mors stands as the somber embodiment of death. Unlike the dramatic tales of gods and heroes, Mors is a figure defined by his quiet inevitability and his role in the final moments of human life. Mors, the Roman personification of death, is often depicted with a somber and detached presence. Unlike Thanatos, his Greek counterpart, who sometimes appears as a figure of gentle yet unyielding finality, Mors is more elusive and less involved in the personal dramas of mortal lives. Where Thanatos might be portrayed with a certain level of empathy or even tenderness, Mors carries a weight of inevitability that feels colder and more impersonal. In Roman culture, Mors is not so much a character with elaborate myths or interactions with other gods. Instead, Mors is a concept, a force that exists on the edge of everyday life. He represents the inescapable end that awaits all and serves as a reminder of the impermanence of human existence. His presence is felt in the quiet moments of reflection on mortality and in the solemn rituals that accompany death. One of the most striking differences between Mors and Thanatos is the way each is integrated into their respective cultures. Thanatos, in Greek mythology, is often woven into stories with dramatic and emotional depth. His interactions with gods and mortals alike add layers of narrative to his role as the bringer of death. He is involved in epic tales, such as his role in the abduction of Persephone and his encounters with heroes on the brink of death. His character is defined by a complex interplay of fate and free will, love and loss. In contrast, Mors in Roman mythology is more abstract, less about personal stories and more about the concept of death itself. The Romans did not focus on elaborate myths surrounding Mors. Instead, they acknowledged him as a fundamental aspect of life cycle. He is less of a character and more of an omnipresent force, marking the end of life with an inescapable finality that is respected but not deeply explored in myth. The Roman approach to Mors reflects the cultural attitudes of the time. The Romans were pragmatic and practical, often emphasizing the importance of rites and rituals to ensure a smooth transition to the afterlife rather than focusing on the dramatic narratives of gods. Mors is acknowledged in the rites of passage that accompany death, in the ceremonies that honor the deceased, and in the prayers and offerings made to ensure that the transition to the afterlife is as seamless as possible. The depiction of Mors is also less anthropomorphized compared to Thanatos. While Thanatos is sometimes shown with wings or other symbols of his role, Mors is more often represented through abstract symbols of death, such as the hourglass or the skull. These symbols serve as stark reminders of the inevitable end that awaits all, emphasizing the impersonal nature of death rather than any personal or emotional connection. Mors' role in Roman culture is a somber yet essential part of the understanding of life and death. His presence is a constant, a reminder of the finality that awaits every individual. The respect for Mors in Roman practices reflects a cultural recognition of death as a natural and unavoidable part of existence, something to be faced with dignity and acceptance. The differences between Moors and Thanatos highlight the variations in how cultures perceive and deal with the concept of death. While Thanatos is woven into the rich tapestry of Greek mythology with emotional and dramatic flair, Moors remains a more abstract and impersonal force in Roman thought. This contrast underscores the diverse ways in which different cultures approach the mysteries of life and death, each finding its own way to make sense of the inevitable end that unites us all. In the quiet corners of Roman life, where the weight of mortality is felt in every moment, Moor stands as a silent yet powerful reminder of the finality that awaits. His presence is both a reassurance and a challenge, a reminder of the inevitable end that shapes the human experience and the ways in which cultures confront the profound mysteries of existence. In the rich tapestry of Egyptian mythology, Osiris emerges as a figure of profound significance, embodying both death and the promise of rebirth. His story is one of tragedy, love, and ultimate triumph, resonating deeply within the ancient Egyptian worldview. Osiris, the god of the dead and resurrection, is more than just a deity. He represents the cycle of life, death, and renewal. His role in the afterlife is central to Egyptian beliefs about immortality and the journey beyond death. To the ancient Egyptians, Osiris was not merely a god who ruled over the dead, he was the very symbol of hope and regeneration. His influence extended beyond the afterlife, shaping the way people understood their existence and their place in the cosmos. The myth of Osiris is a tale steeped in drama and emotion, reflecting the profound connection between life and death in Egyptian culture. Osiris was originally the beloved king of Egypt, a wise and just ruler who brought prosperity to the land. His reign was marked by peace and harmony, and he was deeply cherished by his people. However, his brother Set, consumed by jealousy and ambition, could not bear the thought of Osiris's continued success and happiness. In a shocking act of betrayal, Set devised a cruel plan to eliminate Osiris. During a grand feast, Set presented a beautifully decorated chest, claiming it as a gift. He then challenged the guests to see who could fit inside it. When Osiris, trusting and unsuspecting, lay down in the chest, Set and his accomplices quickly sealed it shut. Osiris was trapped inside, and the chest was cast into the Nile, where it eventually drifted out to sea. The once great king was lost to the world, his absence a source of immense sorrow for his people and his beloved wife, Isis. Isis's grief knew no bounds. Determined to find her husband and restore him to life, she embarked on a harrowing journey across the land and beyond. Her love and devotion were unwavering as she searched tirelessly for Osiris. Her quest led her to the shores of Byblos, where she discovered the chest and, with great effort, retrieved Osiris's body. However, Osiris's return was bittersweet. Though he was restored to his former state, he could not return to life among the living. Instead, Osiris became the ruler of the Underworld, overseeing the dead and ensuring that they received a fair judgment. His role was not one of punishment, but of guidance and protection. Osiris's presence in the afterlife was a beacon of hope for those who had lived honorably. The ancient Egyptians believed that, through Osiris's divine intervention, they too could find a place in the eternal realm of the blessed. The myth of Osiris also intertwines with the story of his son, Horus, who represents the triumph of life and order over chaos. After Osiris's death, his wife Isis gave birth to Horus, who would grow up to seek justice for his father. The battles between Horus and Set were not merely physical conflicts, they symbolized the struggle between good and evil, order and disorder. Horus's eventual victory over Set and his restoration of balance to Egypt were seen as the fulfillment of Osiris's legacy. Through Horus, Osiris's spirit of renewal and justice continued to influence the living world. Osiris's story had a profound impact on Egyptian religious practices and beliefs. Temples dedicated to Osiris were places of pilgrimage, where people came to seek blessings for the afterlife and to ensure their own resurrection. The rituals performed in these sacred spaces were meant to honor Osiris and to gain his favor. His annual festivals, such as the Osiris Mysteries, were filled with ceremonies that celebrated his death and resurrection, reflecting the eternal cycle of life and renewal. In the eyes of the ancient Egyptians, Osiris was not just a god of the dead but a symbol of the everlasting connection between life and death. His myth encapsulates the hope for rebirth and the belief in the possibility of life after death. The emotional depth of his story, from his betrayal and death to his eventual role as the Lord of the Underworld, resonates with the universal human experience of loss, love, and the search for meaning beyond the grave. Through the myth of Osiris, the ancient Egyptians expressed their deepest fears and aspirations, finding solace in the belief that death was not an end but a transformation. Osiris's legacy, intertwined with the stories of Isis and Horus, remains a testament to the enduring power of myth to shape our understanding of life, death, and the promise of renewal. In the hushed stillness of ancient tombs, where echoes of reverence linger, Anubis stands as a sentinel over the departed. His role as the guardian of the dead touches the heart of Egyptian funerary traditions, bridging the gap between life and the afterlife with a solemn grace. Anubis, with his distinctive jackal head, is not just a god but a protector whose very presence commands respect and tranquility. His association with mummification and funerary practices is deeply rooted in the belief that a proper send-off ensures safe passage to the afterlife. To the ancient Egyptians, the journey to the next world was fraught with both hope and trepidation, and Anubis was there to guide the way. The process of mummification was a sacred ritual, meticulously performed to preserve the body for eternity. Anubis played a crucial role in this sacred duty. As the god of funerary rites, he was believed to oversee the preparation of the deceased, ensuring that the body was preserved with care and respect. The intricate rituals of mummification were not just about preserving the physical form but about honoring the soul's journey to the afterlife. Anubis's presence was a reassurance to the living that their loved ones would be cared for in their final transition. With his jackal head, Anubis symbolizes both vigilance and the natural world. The jackal, often seen scavenging the edges of cemeteries, was a fitting representation of the god who watched over the dead. His form conveys a sense of both reverence and authority, suggesting an intimate connection with the mysteries of life and death. In the quiet of the night, when the world was at rest, Anubis was believed to be vigilant, guarding the tombs and ensuring that the sacred rites were properly observed. The symbols associated with Anubis further deepen our understanding of his role. The ankh, a symbol of life, is often depicted in his hands or around him, highlighting his connection to both life and death. The crook and flail, symbols of kingship and authority, are also frequently associated with him, emphasizing his role as a powerful protector. These symbols are not mere adornments but are imbued with profound meaning, reflecting the importance of Anubis's role in the journey of the soul. In the rituals of mummification, Anubis's involvement was seen as a mark of divine approval. His image was often painted or carved on the walls of tombs and coffins, ensuring his protective presence in the afterlife. Priests performing the rites would call upon Anubis, invoking his name as they carefully prepared the body for its eternal rest. The careful attention to detail, from the removal of internal organs to the wrapping in linen, was done with the utmost respect, reflecting the belief that Anubis himself was watching over each step of the process. The heart of the deceased was especially significant in these rites. Anubis was believed to weigh the heart against the feather of Maat, the goddess of truth and justice, to determine the soul's fate in the afterlife. This moment of judgment was both a reflection of the person's life and a testament to the care with which they were prepared for their final journey. The presence of Anubis during this ritual was a source of solace and assurance that the soul would find its way to the afterlife. Through the centuries, the reverence for Anubis has remained a testament to the deep emotional connection the ancient Egyptians had with their beliefs about death and the afterlife. His role as the guardian of the dead was not just a function but a profound assurance of care and respect. In the solemnity of his depictions and the careful performance of mummification rituals, Anubis embodies the heartfelt desire to honor the departed and ensure their safe passage to eternity. Anubis's influence extends beyond his role in the afterlife. His presence in tombs, temples, and rituals speaks to the broader cultural emphasis on the importance of preparing for the journey beyond. Each symbol, each ritual, and each depiction of Anubis serves as a reminder of the care and respect with which the ancient Egyptians approached the mysteries of death. His legacy is a reflection of the deep emotional and spiritual investment in ensuring that the dead were not just mourned but honored with the utmost reverence. In the quiet solitude of the tomb, where the weight of eternity hangs in the balance, Anubis stands as a guardian of both the living and the dead. His role in mummification and funerary practices speaks to a profound understanding of the cycle of life and death, offering a comforting presence as souls embark on their journey to the afterlife. In the eerie silence of the afterlife, where every soul's fate hangs in the balance, Ammit waits with a hunger that chills the heart. Known as the devourer of souls, Ammit embodies the terrifying justice of ancient Egyptian mythology, a figure whose presence strikes fear and awe in equal measure. Ammit, with the head of a crocodile, the body of a lioness, and the hindquarters of a hippopotamus, is not merely a beast of legend, but a symbol of divine retribution. Her role in the judgment of souls is a somber reminder of the consequences of one's actions in life. As the scales of justice are weighed, Ammit's gaze is unrelenting, a stark testament to the belief that every deed, good or bad, would meet its due reward. In the ancient Egyptian belief system, the heart was more than just a vital organ, it was the seat of a person's soul and moral character. During the judgment process, the heart of the deceased was placed on one side of a scale, while the feather of Ma'at, representing truth and justice, was placed on the other. This moment of judgment was the ultimate test of a person's life, their actions, and their adherence to the principles of righteousness. If the heart balanced with the feather, the soul was deemed pure, and it was allowed to pass into the peaceful afterlife, a place of eternal rest and happiness. However, if the scales tipped in favor of the heart, indicating a life filled with deceit, malice, or wrongdoing, the fate was far grimmer. The heart, heavy with sin, was handed over to Ammit, who awaited with a dreadfully ravenous appetite. The sight of Ammit, poised and ready to devour the unworthy hearts, was a powerful deterrent. The concept of divine justice in Egyptian mythology was not merely about rewarding the virtuous, but also about meting out punishment to those who failed to live by the sacred codes. The thought of one's soul being consumed by Ammit was a harrowing image, a fate worse than death itself. To be devoured by Ammit meant the complete and utter annihilation of one's soul, a permanent erasure from existence, with no hope of reincarnation or eternal peace. This vivid image of Ammit underscores the ancient Egyptians' deep commitment to justice and moral integrity. The judgment of souls was not a casual affair, but a profound reflection of the cosmic balance they believed in. Ammit's role as the devourer of souls highlights the gravity of the moral choices people made during their lives. It served as a stark reminder of the ethical standards expected and the severe consequences for failing to meet them. In the ancient Egyptian worldview, divine justice was a balance between reward and punishment, a reflection of Ma'at's principles. Ammit, as a fearsome embodiment of this justice, ensured that the scales of morality were never tipped unfairly. Her presence was both a warning and a consequence, a dual reminder of the importance of living a life of virtue and the inevitable repercussions of transgressions. Ammit's role in the judgment scene, where she would await the fate of the condemned with an insatiable hunger, brings to light the ancient Egyptians' complex relationship with the concepts of life and death. The thought of being consumed by Ammit was a powerful motivator for individuals to live upright lives, adhering to the moral and ethical standards set forth by their gods. It was not merely about fear, but about maintaining harmony with the divine order. The image of Ammit is haunting and unforgettable, a beast that devours not just the body but the very essence of one's being. Her role in the afterlife is a poignant reminder of the ancient Egyptians' belief in a just and orderly cosmos, where every action had a consequence and every soul faced the truth of its deeds. Ammit, as the devourer of souls, was a fierce guardian of divine justice, ensuring that the balance of the afterlife was preserved and that only the purest souls could pass into eternal peace. In this intricate tapestry of judgment and justice, Ammit stands as a stark figure, embodying the weight of one's actions and the unforgiving nature of divine retribution. Her presence in Egyptian mythology serves as a powerful symbol of the moral framework that governed their understanding of life and the afterlife, leaving an indelible mark on their beliefs and their reverence for justice. In the dim recesses of ancient Mesopotamian belief, where shadows stretch long and the air is thick with the whispers of the dead, Ereshkigal reigns as the formidable queen of the Underworld. Her realm, a land of both mystery and dread, is a place where the departed souls journey after death, seeking judgment and solace. Ereshkigal's presence is both awe-inspiring and terrifying, a reflection of the profound respect and fear the Mesopotamians held for the afterlife. Ereshkigal's role as the queen of the underworld is one of solemn authority. Unlike the benevolent rulers of other mythologies, she embodies the harsh reality of death. Her domain, known as Kur, is a dark, somber place where souls come to rest, awaiting their ultimate fate. Unlike the verdant heavens above, Kur is a realm of shadow and silence, ruled by Ereshkigal's steely gaze and unyielding will. The myths surrounding Ereshkigal are steeped in tales of loss and power. She is the sister of Inanna, the goddess of love, beauty, and fertility. Their relationship, marked by both kinship and conflict, reflects the duality of existence, the life and death, joy and sorrow, that define human experience. Inanna's descent to the underworld, a journey driven by her desire to confront her sister, is a story of profound significance. Inanna's journey into Kur was not just a physical descent, but a symbolic one, representing her confrontation with the darker aspects of existence. Her arrival in the underworld was met by Ereshkigal, who ruled with an iron fist. Inanna, clad in her finest robes and adorned with her divine regalia, was stripped of her power and dignity by her sister. The once mighty goddess of love and fertility was reduced to a lifeless corpse, hanging on a hook in Ereshkigal's palace, a haunting symbol of vulnerability and mortality. This myth is more than just a tale of sibling rivalry, it is a reflection of Ereshkigal's role in the cosmic order. Her interactions with Inanna reveal her as a powerful and unyielding force. Inanna's eventual return to the world of the living, facilitated by the intervention of the gods, was not a simple victory. It required the sacrifice of others and the intervention of a wise figure who braved Ereshkigal's wrath to secure Inanna's release. Ereshkigal's actions were driven by a strict sense of justice and balance, ensuring that the order of life and death was maintained. Ereshkigal's reign is also marked by her interactions with other deities. Her power is not just a force of fear, but also one of profound respect. The gods above, despite their divine might, recognize the importance of Ereshkigal's role in maintaining the balance of the cosmos. Her authority over the dead is a critical component of the divine order, ensuring that the souls of the deceased are treated with the respect they deserve and that the afterlife remains in harmony. The story of Ereshkigal is one of duality and depth. Her realm is a place where the finality of death is felt acutely, and her role as the queen of this shadowy domain is both feared and revered. Her interaction with Inanna highlights the inevitability of death and the struggle for power and respect within the divine hierarchy. In the cold silence of the underworld, Ereshkigal stands as a stark reminder of the inevitable end that awaits every soul, a figure whose authority is absolute and whose realm is unyielding. The emotion evoked by Ereshkigal's story is one of both dread and awe. Her role in the Mesopotamian afterlife underscores the profound respect the ancient people had for the mysteries of death. She is not merely a figure of fear, but a symbol of the inescapable fate that awaits all beings, both mortal and divine. Ereshkigal's presence in the myths serves as a poignant reminder of the delicate balance between life and death, joy and sorrow, that defines the human experience. In the heart of Mesopotamian mythology, where the lines between life and death blur, Nergal stands as a formidable figure, a god whose presence sends shivers down the spine. Known for his dual dominion over both war and the underworld, Nergal embodies the raw, untamed forces that shape human fate and the cosmic order. Nergal's influence stretches across the battlefield and into the shadows of the afterlife, making him one of the most complex and compelling deities of ancient Mesopotamian lore. His role in war is as fearsome as it is decisive. He is a god of chaos and destruction, wielding a power that can turn the tide of battle and bring devastation upon his enemies. His presence on the battlefield is said to be both a harbinger of doom and a symbol of relentless power. Soldiers and warriors invoke his name, seeking his favor to overcome their adversaries, knowing well that his blessings come with a cost. Yet, Nergal's dominion does not end with the clash of swords and the roar of war. He is equally the ruler of the underworld, a shadowy domain where souls journey after death. In this somber realm, Nergal's authority is absolute. The underworld he governs is a place of darkness and quiet, a stark contrast to the clamor and strife of his martial aspect. Here, he presides over the departed, ensuring that the balance between life and death is maintained. His rule in this domain is marked by a sense of inevitability and grim acceptance, a reflection of the harsh realities of the afterlife. Nurgle's mythology is a tapestry woven with themes of power, destruction, and the inevitable fate that awaits all souls. His stories often revolve around his intense, sometimes brutal nature, and his interactions with other deities reflect his complex personality. In some myths, Nurgle's actions are driven by vengeance and anger, while in others, he appears as a necessary force, maintaining the balance of cosmic justice. One of the most poignant aspects of Nurgle's mythology is his role in the Divine Council. In these tales, he is not merely a figure of destruction but a crucial part of the pantheon that oversees the fate of the world. His presence in the Underworld complements his martial prowess, creating a duality that underscores the interconnectedness of life, death, and conflict. This dual role adds depth to his character, making him a symbol of the profound and often harsh realities that define existence. In Mesopotamian culture, Nurgle's influence extends beyond mythology and into daily life. His worship was an integral part of religious practices, reflecting the deep respect and fear he inspired. Temples dedicated to Nurgle were places of both reverence and trepidation, where rituals were performed to honor him and seek his favor. His role in war and the afterlife made him a central figure in the spiritual landscape of ancient Mesopotamia, embodying the forces that shaped both mortal and divine realms. The impact of Nurgle's dual role on Mesopotamian culture is profound. He is a reminder of the harsh realities that govern existence, a deity whose power is felt both in the heat of battle and in the silence of the afterlife. His mythology reflects the ancient Mesopotamian understanding of the world, a place where the forces of chaos and order, life and death, are intricately woven together. In the tales of Nurgle, there is a powerful reminder of the inevitability of fate and the unrelenting nature of the forces that govern both the mortal and divine realms. Nurgle's story is one of awe and fear, a testament to the complex nature of the gods who shaped the beliefs and practices of ancient Mesopotamia. His presence in both war and the underworld speaks to the ancient people's understanding of the delicate balance between destruction and renewal, life and death. The god of war and the underworld stands as a powerful symbol of the forces that shape existence, his influence extending far beyond the myths and into the very fabric of Mesopotamian culture. In the chilling corners of Norse mythology, where shadows whisper secrets of the beyond, Hel reigns supreme. With her icy demeanor and somber authority, she embodies the inescapable truth of death and the afterlife. Her name alone conjures images of darkness and foreboding, painting her as the formidable ruler of the underworld. Hel's domain is not merely a place, but a profound reflection of the Norse understanding of death. Her realm, known as Helheim, is a shadowy, gloomy land where souls of those who did not die in battle dwell. Unlike the fiery realms of other mythologies, Helheim is a cold, dreary expanse, a fitting home for the goddess who presides over it. This world is not one of torment but of a chilling, endless silence, where the dead live in a state of dreariness, their fate a stark contrast to the heroic halls of Valhalla where warriors who die in battle are honored. Hel's very appearance is a haunting testament to her role. She is often depicted as a figure split down the middle, one half alive and healthy, the other half decayed and rotting. This unsettling image reflects the duality of life and death and the inevitability of the end that awaits all beings. Her appearance is a visual reminder of the inevitable end that comes to all life, a physical manifestation of the transition from life to the afterlife. As the ruler of Helheim, Hel's role extends beyond merely overseeing the dead. She is a keeper of balance in the cosmos, ensuring that the souls in her realm are managed according to the laws of the universe. Her presence is both a comfort and a warning. For those who enter her domain, there is no escape. It is a final resting place where the past deeds of the living are left behind. She is not a punisher of souls, but a guardian of their final resting place, maintaining the order of the afterlife. Hel's association with death is central to her identity. In the Norse belief system, death is not the end but a transition to another form of existence. Hell's realm represents this transition, a place where souls linger until the end of time. Her role underscores the Norse understanding of the cyclical nature of existence, where death is a natural part of the cosmic order, not something to be feared but accepted. In Norse mythology, Hel's interactions with other deities highlight her unique position in the pantheon. She is the daughter of Loki, the trickster god, and Angrboda, a giantess. This parentage sets her apart from other gods and goddesses, imbuing her with a sense of otherworldliness and a connection to both chaos and the underworld. Despite her lineage, Hel commands respect and authority, her dominion over the dead a crucial part of the cosmic balance. The myths surrounding Hel often depict her as a stern but fair ruler. One notable story is the tale of Baldr, the beloved god whose death was mourned by all. When Baldr was killed, his soul journeyed to Helheim, and the gods, desperate to bring him back, appealed to Hel. Her response was a test of the sincerity of the god's grief, a testament to her role as a judge of souls. She agreed to release Baldr only if every being in the world mourned his death, a condition that revealed the depth of her connection to the balance of life and death. Hel's domain and her role in Norse mythology evoke a deep sense of solemnity and respect. She is the personification of the inescapable end that comes to all beings, her realm a place of reflection on the nature of life and death. Her presence in Norse lore serves as a powerful reminder of the cycle of existence, where death is not an end but a transition to another form of being. In the chilling depths of Helheim, where silence reigns and the dead dwell, Hel stands as a testament to the profound and often somber truths of the afterlife. In the dark recesses of Norse mythology, where the cold whispers of death and the afterlife echo through the ages, Hela stands as a figure of haunting majesty. Her presence is not just a symbol of the end, but a complex embodiment of both dread and respect. Depicted in various ways across time and stories, she is a goddess whose very essence invokes a blend of fear and fascination. Hela, often portrayed with an appearance that is both compelling and unsettling, carries a duality that reflects her dominion over death. In some depictions, she is shown with a split appearance, one side of her body is vibrant and full of life, while the other half is decayed and skeletal. This striking imagery is more than just artistic flair, it vividly represents the transition between life and death, capturing the essence of her role as the keeper of the underworld. It's a visual metaphor for the inexorable end that awaits all beings, portraying the chilling reality that death is an inevitable part of existence. Other portrayals of Hela emphasize her as a figure of both command and compassion. In these depictions, she appears as a regal and formidable queen, her presence commanding respect from both gods and mortals. Her gaze can be as piercing as it is kind, reflecting her role as a guardian of souls who have journeyed to her realm. In these portrayals, Hela is not merely a figure of doom but a ruler who oversees the final resting place of the departed with a sense of solemn duty. Hela's role in Norse mythology is both expansive and specific. As the ruler of Helheim, the realm of the dead, she governs the souls of those who did not die in battle. Unlike the glorious halls of Valhalla, reserved for heroic warriors, Helheim is a place of quiet, where souls dwell in a state of subdued existence. Hela's task is to maintain order within her domain, ensuring that the souls receive their due rest. She is both a judge and a caretaker, her role essential to the balance of the cosmos. The cultural impact of Hela extends beyond mythology into the everyday lives and beliefs of the Norse people. Her presence in rituals and stories reflects the Norse understanding of death as a transition rather than an end. Hela's realm, with its cold, shadowy expanses, serves as a counterpoint to the heroic tales of Valhalla, reminding people of the inevitable and the natural order of life and death. In the mythological landscape, Hela's influence is profound. Her interactions with other gods and heroes often highlight her role as both a formidable power and a necessary component of the cosmic order. When Baldr, one of the beloved gods, died, his soul was sent to Helheim. The gods, desperate to retrieve him, had to appeal to Hela. Her response, testing the sincerity of their grief, underscores her position as a gatekeeper who ensures that the dead are treated with respect and that the balance of the universe is upheld. Hela's character also embodies the Norse belief in the cyclical nature of existence. Death, in Norse thought, is not a finality but a passage to another state of being. Hela, as the goddess of this transition, is a reminder of the natural flow of life and death. Her presence serves as a poignant symbol of the acceptance of mortality and the recognition that life's end is a part of the greater cycle of existence. In every depiction, Hela's role is underscored by a deep sense of reverence and awe. Her domain is a place where the departed find rest, her appearance a reminder of the delicate balance between life and death. Her influence on Norse mythology and culture highlights the importance of understanding and accepting death as a part of life's journey, reflecting a belief system that values the natural order and the respectful treatment of all souls. In the vast expanse of religious belief and mythology, Yama stands as a striking figure, embodying the complex and often haunting aspects of death and the afterlife. In the intricate tapestry of Buddhist tradition, Yama takes on a role that is both awe-inspiring and deeply reflective, contrasting sharply with his depiction in Hinduism and shaping the Buddhist understanding of what lies beyond. Yama, often recognized as the Lord of Death, holds a position of profound significance in both Hindu and Buddhist traditions, but his role and influence shift dramatically between these two belief systems. In Hinduism, Yama is primarily seen as the god of death, the keeper of the underworld, and the judge of souls. His role is deeply embedded in the cycles of karma and rebirth, where he presides over the judgment of souls and determines their next incarnation based on their past actions. However, in Buddhism, Yama's role is redefined in nuanced and fascinating ways. While he still embodies the concept of death, his function in Buddhist thought is more focused on the transformative aspects of the afterlife and spiritual enlightenment. Unlike in Hinduism, where Yama is a more direct judge of the soul's fate, in Buddhism, he symbolizes the inevitability of death and the cycle of rebirth, but with an emphasis on the moral and spiritual consequences of one's actions. In Buddhist beliefs, Yama is less a personal judge and more a representation of the natural law of karma and the cycles of life and death. His presence serves as a reminder of the transient nature of life and the importance of living a virtuous life to achieve enlightenment. The imagery of Yama in Buddhist contexts often portrays him as a fearsome, but not malevolent, figure who oversees the process of dying and rebirth with impartiality. He embodies the natural laws that govern existence, rather than a personal deity who makes individual judgments. Yama's influence on Buddhist beliefs about the afterlife is profound and multifaceted. In Buddhism, the concept of death is not an end but a transition in the cycle of samsara, or the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. Yama's role highlights the importance of understanding and accepting this cycle as a natural process. His presence serves to remind practitioners of the inevitable nature of death and the importance of pursuing spiritual growth and enlightenment to break free from the cycle of rebirth. In Buddhist art and literature, Yama is often depicted as a formidable figure, sometimes with a fearsome appearance, but always as a symbol of the truth of impermanence. His presence in these works is a visual and symbolic representation of the need for spiritual awareness and the acceptance of the natural order of life and death. This portrayal serves as a powerful reminder that, while death is a reality that must be faced, it is also an opportunity for spiritual growth and liberation from the endless cycle of rebirth. The stark contrast between Yama's roles in Hinduism and Buddhism highlights the different perspectives on death and the afterlife within these traditions. In Hinduism, Yama's role is closely tied to the individual's karma and the direct consequences of their actions, serving as a personal judge and overseer of the soul's journey. In Buddhism, Yama represents the broader, more impersonal forces of the universe, emphasizing the need for spiritual enlightenment to escape the cycle of samsara. In both traditions, Yama's presence is a potent symbol of the realities of life and death, but his role in Buddhism offers a more abstract and philosophical approach to understanding these concepts. His influence encourages practitioners to reflect on their actions, embrace the impermanence of life, and strive for spiritual awakening to transcend the cycle of rebirth. Yama's portrayal in Buddhism invites a profound reflection on the nature of existence and the journey toward enlightenment. His role serves as a reminder of the importance of living a mindful and virtuous life, recognizing the transient nature of all things, and seeking to overcome the cycles of rebirth through spiritual practice. In the eerie silence of the afterlife, where shadows whisper and souls wander, King Yama presides over a realm that is as daunting as it is transformative. Known as the ruler of the 6 realms of hell in Buddhist tradition, King Yama embodies the chilling yet profoundly significant aspects of judgment and rebirth. His role is not just about punishment but a reflection of the complex and often harrowing journey of the soul through the cycles of existence. In Buddhism, hell is not a place of eternal damnation but a realm of intense suffering where beings face the consequences of their actions. This suffering is not arbitrary but is tied to the moral weight of their past deeds, shaped by the intricate web of karma. The 6 realms of hell, governed by King Yama, are part of a larger cosmic system that includes various planes of existence, each reflecting different aspects of spiritual development and moral consequence. King Yama's realm is a shadowy expanse where beings are confronted with the direct results of their negative actions. Unlike the fiery pits of Western imagery, these realms are often depicted as places of cold, dark, and oppressive environments. The suffering experienced here is a profound emotional and spiritual torment, representing the inner anguish and regret that comes from one's unwholesome deeds. King Yama himself is depicted as a formidable figure, often with a fearsome visage, embodying the power and authority required to oversee such a realm. His appearance is not merely for intimidation, but symbolizes the gravity of his role. In his hands, he holds the power to dispense justice and administer the consequences of actions with impartiality. His role is deeply tied to the concept of karma. Every action, every choice in life, is weighed and measured, and the consequences are faced in these hellish realms. The depiction of King Yama is both daunting and evocative. Artists often portray him with fierce features, emphasizing his role as the enforcer of cosmic justice. He is usually shown with a stern expression and a demeanor that commands respect and fear. This portrayal serves as a visual reminder of the gravity of moral conduct and the inevitable results of one's actions. In Buddhist tradition, King Yama's significance extends beyond his role as a judge of the dead. He embodies the ultimate truth of impermanence and the need for moral rectitude. His realm is a place where souls are given the chance to reflect on their past lives and come to terms with their actions. The suffering experienced here is intended to be a transformative process, one that encourages spiritual growth and redemption. The concept of the 6 realms of hell under King Yama's rule underscores the Buddhist belief in the impermanence of all things, including the suffering experienced in these realms. Hell is not seen as a permanent state, but as a temporary phase in the journey of the soul, a stage in the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. The ultimate goal for those who find themselves in these realms is to learn from their suffering, make amends, and move towards enlightenment and liberation from the cycle of samsara. The vivid and often terrifying depictions of King Yama and the 6 realms of hell serve to instill a sense of urgency and responsibility. They remind practitioners of the consequences of their actions and the importance of living a life of virtue. The suffering experienced in these realms is a direct reflection of the inner turmoil caused by unwholesome deeds and is intended to guide souls towards a path of redemption and spiritual awakening. King Yama's realm is a profound representation of the consequences of moral failure, but it is also a space of profound potential for transformation. The suffering experienced here is not meant to be eternal, but is a crucial part of the process of understanding the effects of one's actions and striving towards a better future. His role as the ruler of the 6 realms of hell is a reminder of the deep connection between actions and consequences and the importance of striving for enlightenment and moral purity. In the shadow depths of his domain, King Yama stands as both a figure of fear and a symbol of ultimate justice. His realm serves as a stark reminder of the power of karma and the importance of living a life of integrity. As souls navigate the intense trials of the 6 realms of hell, they are given the chance to reflect, repent, and ultimately, to seek a path towards spiritual liberation. In the murky corridors of the Chinese underworld, where the echoes of the departed whisper through the ages, Yama, known as Yinluo Wang, reigns with a blend of ancient authority and unyielding justice. His presence is a chilling reminder of the fine line between life and the afterlife, bridging the spiritual world and the earthly realm with a sense of solemn duty. Yama's adaptation into Chinese mythology brings with it a sense of gravity and awe. In this tradition, Yin Luo Wang is not merely a figure of death, but a profound embodiment of the judgment and order that governs the transition from life to the afterlife. As the king of the underworld, he presides over a complex system of judgment, determining the fate of souls based on their deeds during their earthly lives. The Chinese underworld, known as Diyu, is a realm as vast as it is terrifying, filled with elaborate layers and distinct realms of punishment and reward. Here, Yin Luo Wang is depicted with a fearsome appearance, often shown with a grim expression and regal attire that reflects his high status and serious role. His image is not just one of fear but of respect, a powerful figure who ensures that the principles of moral justice are upheld even after death. Yin Luo Wang's role in judgment is both exacting and compassionate. He is responsible for assessing the actions of the deceased, determining whether they will be sent to one of the many levels of hell for punishment or granted passage to a more peaceful afterlife. Each soul must face Yin Luo Wang's scrutiny, their lives laid bare before him as he examines the balance of their good and bad deeds. The process is not one of mere condemnation but of profound introspection and correction. Souls are judged based on their actions, and Yin Luo Wang's role is to administer justice in a way that is meant to be fair and ultimately redemptive. The severity of the punishment reflects the weight of their actions, but there is also an understanding that this process is part of a larger journey of purification and transformation. In Chinese beliefs, Diyu is depicted as a multi-layered realm where the soul undergoes various trials. Yin Luo Wang oversees these layers, ensuring that each soul's punishment is appropriate and that justice is served according to the laws of karma. The levels of hell are designed to match the nature of the transgressions, providing a fitting consequence for each deed. Yin Luo Wang's influence extends beyond mere judgment. He represents the idea that actions have repercussions, and his role is a reminder of the moral order that governs the universe. His presence is a powerful force, ensuring that the principles of righteousness and fairness are maintained, even in the afterlife. The Chinese underworld, under Yin Luo Wang's rule, is a place where the soul must confront its own actions. The process is both a trial and a chance for redemption. Each soul's journey through Diyu is a reflection of their earthly life, and Yin Luo Wang's judgment is both a reckoning and a stepping stone towards spiritual growth. His role is a profound reminder of the interconnectedness of life, death, and the moral choices that define us. Yin Luo Wang's depiction in Chinese mythology is a blend of awe and solemnity. He is a figure of immense authority, commanding respect and instilling a sense of dread that is tempered by the understanding of his just and compassionate nature. His role as the ruler of the underworld is a testament to the deep-rooted beliefs in justice and moral order that pervade Chinese spiritual traditions. As souls traverse the complex and often daunting realms of Diyu, Yin Luo Wang stands as a figure of both judgment and hope. His presence is a reminder that, even in the afterlife, there is a path towards redemption and a chance to make amends. His role in Chinese mythology is a powerful symbol of the enduring belief in justice and the possibility of transformation, no matter how dark the journey may seem. In the quiet stillness of the afterlife, where the souls of the departed wander through a world unseen, Dizang Wang, known as the Earth Store Bodhisattva, stands as a beacon of hope and guidance. His presence is a gentle yet powerful force, offering solace and direction to those navigating the uncertain paths of the afterlife. Dizang Wang is not just a guide, he is a compassionate guardian of the souls who have left the earthly realm. His role is profoundly significant in Chinese Buddhist practices, where he is revered as a protector of lost souls and a guide for those seeking enlightenment and rebirth. In the labyrinth of the afterlife, where fear and confusion might reign, Dizang Wang is the calm presence that leads souls toward liberation. Imagine a dark, shadowy realm where souls drift aimlessly, burdened by their past deeds and uncertainties about their future. In this realm, Dizang Wang's presence is like a comforting light, piercing through the gloom. His serene countenance and steadfast commitment offer a guiding hand to those who find themselves lost or in need of reassurance. Dizang Wang is often depicted with a gentle expression, symbolizing his compassion and dedication to alleviating the suffering of the departed. His figure, clad in robes of deep earth tones, reflects his role as a protector and caretaker. He holds a staff, a symbol of his ability to guide and support souls through their journey in the afterlife. This staff is not just a tool but a symbol of his enduring strength and his commitment to helping souls find their way. In Chinese Buddhist beliefs, Dizan Wang is seen as a savior who vows not to enter nirvana until all beings have been liberated from their suffering. This vow reflects his deep compassion and tireless dedication to helping others, no matter how long it may take. His role is not just to guide souls, but to offer them the chance for redemption and enlightenment, making his presence a profound source of hope. The significance of Dizan Wang in Chinese Buddhist practices extends beyond the afterlife. He is a central figure in rituals and prayers aimed at aiding the deceased and ensuring their safe passage to the next life. Devotees turn to Dizan Wang for comfort and guidance, seeking his help to ensure that their loved ones find peace and liberation from the cycle of rebirth. His role in guiding souls involves more than just providing directions. It is about offering spiritual support and reassurance. As souls traverse the various stages of the afterlife, they encounter challenges and trials that reflect their earthly lives and the karmic consequences of their actions. Dizan Wang's guidance helps them navigate these trials, offering them the opportunity to reflect, repent, and ultimately find a path to a better existence. In the intricate web of Chinese Buddhist beliefs, Dizan Wang's role is both profound and deeply personal. He embodies the idea that even in the darkest moments, there is always a chance for redemption and renewal. His dedication to helping souls find their way reflects the core values of compassion and selflessness that underpin Buddhist teachings. The Earth Store Bodhisattva's influence is also seen in the practices of remembrance and veneration. During ceremonies and rituals, practitioners invoke his name and seek his blessings, believing that his presence can ease the suffering of the departed and guide them toward a favorable rebirth. These practices are a testament to his enduring significance and the deep respect with which he is held. Dizan Wang's role as a guide in the afterlife is a reminder of the profound impact that compassion and guidance can have on those who are lost or in need. His presence offers solace to the departed and reassurance to the living, knowing that there is a compassionate figure watching over their loved ones and guiding them toward a brighter future. In the quiet moments of prayer and reflection, Dizan Wang's influence is felt as a source of hope and comfort, bridging the gap between life and the afterlife with unwavering dedication and love. In the haunting stillness of an ancient story, the goddess Izanami stands as a powerful and poignant figure. Her myth, a tapestry of love, loss, and the shadows of the underworld, echoes through Japanese mythology and Shinto practices, leaving a mark on the spiritual landscape. Izanami, the primordial goddess of creation, shared her life with Izanagi, the god of the heavens. Together, they shaped the world, giving birth to islands, deities, and the very essence of life itself. But their journey took a tragic turn when Izanami, giving birth to the fire god Kagetsuchi, was fatally burned. Her descent into the underworld, Yomi, was not just a passage but a profound transformation into the ruler of death. Her descent into Yomi is a story filled with sorrow and unfulfilled longing. Izanami's journey into the underworld was not merely a physical descent but a shift into a realm of darkness and loss. Once she entered Yomi, she became a goddess of death, her once radiant beauty now shrouded in the gloom of her new domain. The underworld, a place of shadows and echoes, was where Izanami would reside, and where her role as a guide to the dead would be defined. In Yomi, Izanami's appearance and role changed dramatically. The goddess who once brought life now ruled over the dead, her form transformed into a ghostly figure, embodying the very essence of decay and the passage from life to death. The contrast between her former self and her underworld existence was stark, highlighting the depth of her transformation and the weight of her new responsibilities. Despite her change, Izanami's role in the underworld was crucial. She became the guardian of the dead, overseeing the souls that journeyed to her realm. Her presence was both a reminder of the inevitability of death and a symbol of the continuity of life, as souls transitioned from the world of the living to the realm of the departed. Her governance of Yomi was a solemn duty, reflecting the balance between life and death that she now embodied. Izanami's story is not just a tale of loss, but also a narrative of love and sacrifice. Her descent into the underworld was driven by her love for her husband and her desire to continue their journey together. Even in death, her bond with Izanagi remained, underscoring the enduring nature of their relationship. Her sacrifice became a symbol of the depth of her commitment and the emotional resonance of her role as the ruler of the dead. In Shinto practices, Izanami's influence is profound. Her myth informs rituals and beliefs about death and the afterlife. She is revered as a deity who bridges the world of the living and the dead, her presence a reminder of the cycles of existence and the connection between life and death. Her role in Shinto rituals often involves honoring the dead and ensuring that the spirits find peace in their journey through Yomi. Izanami's legacy is reflected in the respect and reverence with which she is held in Japanese culture. Her story, with its themes of love, loss, and transformation, resonates deeply with those who seek to understand the nature of life and death. Her role as the goddess of the dead underscores the significance of acknowledging and honoring the past, even as one moves forward. In the quiet moments of reflection and ritual, Izanami's presence is felt as a guiding force, a reminder of the profound connection between the worlds of the living and the dead. Her story, marked by both sorrow and love, is a testament to the enduring nature of her role and the deep emotional impact she has on those who seek to understand the mysteries of existence. In the eerie silence of the afterlife, where shadows mingle with the echoes of lost souls, Mo stands as a figure of both awe and fear. Known as the king of the underworld in Japanese Buddhist tradition, Mo is not merely a deity but a profound symbol of justice and the weight of moral actions beyond life. Mo's presence in the underworld is more than a mere administrative role, it is a reflection of the profound gravity with which Buddhist teachings regard the afterlife. As the ruler of the realm where souls are judged, he embodies the moral and ethical weight that every action on earth carries into the next world. His role is deeply intertwined with the idea of karmic justice, a fundamental concept in Buddhism where every deed, whether good or bad, shapes the destiny of the soul after death. In the dark expanse of the underworld, Mo's domain is a place where souls face the consequences of their earthly actions. Here, he presides over the judgment of the departed, weighing their deeds with an unerring sense of fairness. The atmosphere is one of somber reflection and deep introspection, where every soul must confront the truth of their actions and the reality of their past lives. Mo's authority ensures that justice is not merely a concept, but a living, breathing force that shapes the very essence of the afterlife. The influence of Mo on Japanese views of the afterlife is profound. In the cultural consciousness, he is more than a fearsome figure, he represents the ultimate reckoning that awaits every soul. His role instills a sense of accountability and encourages individuals to live righteously, knowing that their actions are closely observed and will be judged in the life to come. Mo's presence serves as a powerful reminder of the moral weight of one's actions, adding a layer of gravity to the Buddhist understanding of death and the afterlife. Mo's depiction often carries a mixture of intimidation and respect. He is typically portrayed with a stern visage, embodying the seriousness of his role as the judge of the dead. His appearance may be fearsome, but it is also deeply respectful, underscoring the balance he maintains between enforcing justice and guiding souls towards redemption. His form, often surrounded by the symbols of his authority, serves as a visual representation of the moral order he upholds. The influence of Mo extends beyond mere representation, it permeates the spiritual practices and beliefs of many. His presence in Japanese Buddhist temples and rituals underscores the belief in a just and ordered afterlife, where every soul's actions are scrutinized with unwavering precision. This belief shapes how individuals approach their lives, encouraging them to seek righteousness and to be mindful of the consequences of their actions. Mo's role in Japanese Buddhist tradition is a testament to the deep interconnection between morality and the afterlife. He embodies the principle that every action has a ripple effect, not just in the physical world but in the spiritual realm as well. His judgment ensures that the scales of justice are balanced, providing a sense of closure and accountability for souls as they transition from life to the afterlife. In the quiet moments of reflection, when the weight of one's deeds is considered, Mo stands as a powerful reminder of the profound connection between life and the afterlife. His presence in the underworld is not merely a function of governance, but a reflection of the spiritual truths that guide human existence. Through his role, the values of justice, morality, and accountability are brought to the forefront, shaping how individuals view their actions and their ultimate destiny. MOS influence thus extends beyond the afterlife, touching the very core of spiritual belief and moral conduct. In the heart of ancient forests, where shadows danced beneath towering trees, there exists a presence, wild, untamed, and eternal. Cernunnos, the horned god, stands at the threshold between life and death, a figure draped in both mystery and reverence. His antlers stretch upward, reaching for the heavens, while his feet are rooted in the earth. He is a guardian of the underworld, a deity who watches over the cycle of death and rebirth with eyes that have witnessed countless souls crossing the veil between worlds. Cernunnos is not just a god of death, but also of life in its most primal and raw form. His very essence is intertwined with the cycle of nature, the endless ebb and flow of seasons, the dying of the old and the birth of the new. In the cold grip of winter, when life retreats into the earth, Cernunnos reigns, holding the promise that death is not the end. He cradles life's spark even in the darkest of times, waiting for the moment it will burst forth again in spring's awakening. The souls that pass under his care are not lost, they are part of this eternal cycle, where death is but a passage to something new. In Celtic mythology, Cernunnos embodies this delicate balance between the end and the beginning. He is not a god to be feared, though his connection to death can feel daunting. Rather, he offers a sense of peace to those who understand his nature. For the Celts, death was not a final curtain but a doorway, and Cernunnos stood as the gatekeeper, ensuring the soul's journey was guided by the rhythm of nature. His horns, ancient and wise, symbolized his knowledge of life's mysteries, both its joys and its sorrows. Rituals in honor of Cernunnos were held with a sense of reverence for this balance. In these sacred acts, people would call upon him, seeking his blessing for bountiful hunts, prosperous harvests, and safe passage for the souls of their loved ones. As the god of both fertility and death, he presided over life's most significant transitions, whether it was the birth of a child or the passing of an elder into the afterlife. His presence was woven into the fabric of daily life and the turning of the seasons, reminding all who worshipped him that death is a natural part of existence. The imagery of Cernunnos is one that evokes both awe and comfort. His antlers, symbols of strength and endurance, represent the everlasting cycle of life, reaching upward to touch the sky but rooted firmly in the earth. His wild, untamed nature reflects the unpredictability of life, yet his steady gaze offers reassurance that through all of life's chaos, there is order. Even in the midst of death, there is purpose and meaning. In the cold silence of winter, when life seems to retreat and the earth feels barren, Cernunnos' influence is most profound. He stands as a reminder that even in the darkness, there is the promise of renewal. The forest may lose its leaves, the animals may go into hiding, and the air may grow still, but Cernunnos holds the knowledge that life is merely resting, preparing to return stronger and fuller than before. His connection to rebirth is not limited to the natural world. It extends to the spiritual realm as well. In death, Cernunnos guides the soul through its transition, ensuring that it finds peace and renewal on the other side. The souls entrusted to him are not left to wander aimlessly, they are cradled in his care, just as the earth cradles seeds in winter, waiting for them to bloom once more. His role as a guide in the afterlife is both tender and powerful, a reflection of his understanding of life's deeper truths. For those who honored him, Cernunnos was not just a god of the afterlife, but a symbol of hope. He represented the idea that death, while inevitable, was not something to be feared. Instead, it was a part of life's journey, a step in the process of growth and renewal. His presence at the crossroads of life and death offered comfort to those facing loss, reminding them that in every ending, there is the seed of a new beginning. The legends of Cernunnos have endured through the ages because they touch something fundamental in the human experience. His story is one of connection, between the living and the dead, between the wild and the civilized, between the seen and the unseen. He speaks to the part of us that understands that life is more than what we can touch and see, that there is something deeper at play, something ancient and eternal that binds us all. In the quiet of the forest, When the wind whispers through the trees and the earth feels alive beneath your feet, it is said that you can feel his presence. Cernunnos watches over the living and the dead alike, holding both in balance, offering his quiet strength to those who seek it. His antlers stretch to the sky, his feet planted in the earth, forever standing between worlds. In the misty dawn of battlefields, where the cries of warriors echoed against the wind, a shadowy figure would often be seen, a woman with raven-black wings, eyes burning with an ancient fire. The Morrigan, the fearsome goddess of war and death, hovered over the chaos, watching as blood soaked the earth and souls slipped from the bodies of the fallen. She was more than just a spectator of death, she was its embodiment, a force that walked hand in hand with those whose fate was to meet their end. Her presence stirred fear, but it also stirred something deeper, an awe, a sense that the Morrigan was not just a goddess of destruction, but a guardian of the passage from life to death. To the Celts, she was a powerful figure, tied to the very heart of war, fate, and the mysteries of the afterlife. The Morrigan was often seen as a weaver of destiny, deciding who would fall and who would stand, her influence reaching far beyond the battlefield. When she appeared, it was not just to witness death, it was to ensure that death had meaning. For those who knew her myth, the Morrigan wasn't just a singular entity. She often manifested as three interconnected figures, each representing a different aspect of war and death, sovereignty, destruction, and fate. This trinity gave her a sense of omnipresence, as though she could be in many places at once, her wings brushing across the battlefield like the cold hand of fate itself. When warriors saw a raven circling above, they knew she was watching, and many believed that their fate was sealed. The Morrigan's connection to death was not limited to physical demise. She was tied to the spiritual journey that followed, to the souls who left their bodies behind and ventured into the unknown. In Celtic belief, death was not an end, but a transition, a passage into another realm, and the Morrigan was there to guide and guard that passage. Her dark wings shielded the souls as they moved from this world to the next, ensuring that their journey was protected, even in death. She was both terrifying and compassionate, a goddess who understood the full spectrum of existence and the inevitable return to the earth from which all life came. Yet, it was not just death that defined her. The Morrigan was deeply connected to life itself, for in war, in the very struggle for survival, there is a profound connection to the living. She was present not only at the end, but also in the heat of the fight, inspiring warriors to fight with courage and heart, even when the odds were against them. Her whispers, carried by the wind, pushed them forward, reminding them of their strength and their place in the ever-turning wheel of life and death. In rituals and practices, the Morrigan was invoked by those who sought to understand the mysteries of life's end. Druids and warriors alike would call upon her, offering their prayers and sacrifices in the hopes of receiving her favor, or at least, her mercy. Her presence in these moments was palpable, a chilling reminder that death walks closely with life, and that all must eventually face it. The Celts, who understood the fragility of existence, saw in the Morrigan a reflection of their own mortality, but also a promise that even in death, there is a connection to something greater. Her influence wasn't just in the physical world. The Morrigan held sway over dreams and visions, her presence often felt in the night when the mind wandered into dark and unknown places. Many believed that she could appear in dreams to foretell a coming death, or to prepare the soul for its journey to the afterlife. Her image, a raven, a dark figure on the horizon, was a sign of things to come, and though it brought fear, it also brought a strange sense of peace. For in her appearance, there was the promise of a guided passage, of a death that was part of a larger, more mysterious plan. The Morrigan's significance in Celtic mythology and practices went beyond her connection to death and war. She was a goddess of transformation, a symbol of the ever-changing nature of life. Just as the seasons shift and the land changes, so too does the soul, and the Morrigan was there to remind people of this eternal truth. She represented the inevitability of change, the certainty that life, no matter how strong or vibrant, would one day give way to death, and that this cycle was natural, even beautiful in its way. She was not a figure to be taken lightly, but neither was she to be seen as purely malevolent. The Morrigan held power over both life and death, war and peace, and her influence shaped the way the Celts understood their world. In her, they saw the reflection of their own struggles, their own battles, and the inevitable end that awaited all living things. Yet, in that end, there was the promise of something more, of a life beyond the one they knew, a journey guided by a goddess who understood the delicate balance between the two worlds. Her influence still lingers, a shadow on the edges of the human experience. The Morrigan remains a symbol of both fear and hope, a reminder that while death is inescapable, it is also part of the great cycle that connects all of life. And when the raven circles overhead, her wings dark against the sky, we are reminded that even in the face of death, there is a profound connection to the living force that moves through all things. In the shadows of every culture, beneath the surface of life itself, there lies a powerful figure, watching over the delicate line between the living and the dead. These figures are not merely symbols, they are the guardians of the underworld, the rulers of places we only glimpse in our deepest fears or in the quiet moments when the inevitability of death brushes against our hearts. They stand at the threshold, holding the weight of souls, memories, and forgotten hopes. Their stories differ, but their purpose is universal, to guide, to judge, to protect the mysteries of the afterlife. Across cultures, these deities of the underworld are often feared, misunderstood, yet profoundly respected. Their presence lingers in the air when life slips away, as they stand ready to usher the soul into a realm beyond comprehension. The Greek god Hades, with his stern gaze and unwavering authority, rules over the silent kingdom beneath the earth. In his hands lies the fate of all who pass from this world to the next. Hades does not seek cruelty, nor does he revel in the suffering of the souls in his care. Instead, he is a figure of inevitability, a reminder that death is not something to be fought, but something that must be faced. His underworld is not a place of torment, but a space where souls find their final rest, judged according to the lives they led. Across the ocean, the Egyptian god Osiris stands as a symbol of both death and rebirth. Cloaked in the mystery of resurrection, Osiris offers a different vision of the underworld. For the ancient Egyptians, death was not an end, but a journey to a new beginning. Osiris, with his green skin representing life after death, judged the hearts of the departed on the scales of Maat, the goddess of truth. Here, the heart was weighed against a feather, and only those whose hearts were light with righteousness would find peace in the afterlife. Osiris' domain was one of hope, where the promise of eternal life was granted to the just, and the darkness of non-existence awaited those who carried too much weight from the sins of their mortal life. In the misty forests and sacred groves of the Celts, Cernunnos, the horned god, watched over the cycles of death and rebirth. His connection to nature made him both a protector and a destroyer, guiding the souls of the dead back to the earth from which they came. Cernunnos' realm was not one of punishment but transformation. The dead returned to the soil, their spirits feeding the endless cycle of life that pulsed through the land. To the Celts, death was not an enemy, it was part of the balance, and Cernunnos was there to ensure that balance was maintained. His antlered figure, standing tall and silent in the forest, held the wisdom of ages, reminding the living that death is as natural as the seasons turning. Further east, the Buddhist Lord of Death, Yama, watches over the 6 realms of existence, ensuring that souls find their way according to the karmic weight they carry. Yama's role is not to punish, but to ensure that the law of cause and effect is honored. His presence is not a curse, but a guiding force, reminding people of the impermanence of life and the importance of their actions. In his judgment hall, Yama reflects the life of the deceased, showing them their deeds as clearly as if looking into a mirror. There is no escape from this truth, no evasion. Yama's gaze is piercing, but it is not without compassion. He understands the human condition, and while his judgments are just, there is a sense of sorrow in the inevitability of it all. In the Aztec tradition, Mictlantecutli, the skeletal god of the dead, reigns over Mictlan, the 9-layered underworld where souls of the departed travel after death. Mictlan is not a place of eternal suffering, but a journey, a difficult, exhausting journey through challenges that test the endurance of the soul. Only by passing through each layer can a soul find rest. Mictlantecutli, though fearsome in appearance with his skull-like visage and skeletal body, is not a figure of malice. His presence is a reminder of the trials that await after death, but also of the peace that lies beyond them. Even in the Norse tradition, Hel, the goddess of the underworld, rules over a realm of the dead that is not solely about suffering. Her icy domain, Helheim, is reserved for those who did not die in battle. While Valhalla awaits warriors, Helheim is where those who lived ordinary lives go to rest. Hel, half alive and half dead in her appearance, embodies the duality of life and death. Her realm is cold and distant, yet it offers a form of peace, a place where the dead can reside in stillness, far from the chaos of life. As varied as these figures may be, what connects them is their role as protectors of the balance between life and death. Each culture views death through a different lens, but the underlying truth is the same: death is inevitable, and the underworld deities are there to guide, to judge, and to hold space for the souls that pass into their care. There is both fear and reverence in their stories, for they embody the unknown, the part of existence that lies beyond the reach of the living. In these deities, we see reflections of our own fears, our hopes, and our struggles with mortality. They stand as a bridge between worlds, holding the weight of all who have come before and all who will follow. Though their names and faces may differ, their purpose remains the same: to watch over the dead and to remind the living that death is not something to fear, but a natural part of the cycle of life.